Have you ever wondered what separates a company that absolutely crushes it from one that just gets by? Well, a lot of the time, it comes down to a single idea: design. Today, we're going to dive into strategic consulting, which is really the art of building organizations that are designed from the ground up to win. So here's our game plan. First, we'll zoom out and get the big picture. Then we'll lay down the architect's blueprint, which is strategy. After that, we'll look at the engine that makes it all go, the operations. We'll talk about the all-important human element. And finally, we'll look at the moral compass that keeps the whole thing heading true north. All right, first things first. Before we can start taking apart a successful organization, we really need to get our heads around the whole field that's dedicated to building them in the first place. So what exactly is strategic management consulting? Okay, so what does that really mean in plain English? Well, think of a strategic consultant less like a mechanic fixing one part of a car and more like a doctor looking at the health of the entire person. They're not just there to tweak a marketing campaign, they're asking the massive questions like, where is this whole company going to be in 10 years? And what is our fundamental reason for existing? And that leads us perfectly into our next section. If you think about an organization as this massive, complex building project, then corporate strategy, well, that's the architect's blueprint. It is the single master plan that every other thing gets built on top of. At the end of the day, all strategy really boils down to this one incredibly powerful question. And it might sound simple, but being able to answer it with total clarity is probably the single most important job for any leader. It's not just about picking a destination. It's about figuring out the unique path that's going to let you win that race. You see, this high-level plan becomes the North Star for every single decision that follows. It's what tells you where to put every dollar, every person's hour of work, and every bit of energy. Without a clear strategy, a company isn't really moving towards a goal. It's just kind of drifting. Okay, so a beautiful blueprint is great, but let's be honest, it's pretty useless without a powerful engine to actually bring it to life. And that brings us to operations, the real nuts and bolts that turn that strategic vision into something you can actually see and touch. Now, these three things, process, system, and structure, they are completely connected. I mean, you can't have one without the others. Let's make it super simple. Think about a pizza place. The process is the step-by-step flow, right? Take the order, make the pizza, get it out the door. The system is the tech that helps it happen. The online ordering app, the ovens, the delivery tracking, and the structure? That's just who does what. The chef, the person at the counter, the driver. You need all three working together perfectly to get that pizza to your door hot and on time. And you can see how it all flows together so perfectly here. It's a logical chain of events. You start with a big idea, the corporate strategy, that's your destination. Then you design the operational engine, your processes and systems to actually make the journey. And finally, you build the structure of the team that's going to support the whole thing. But you know, even the most perfect engine in the world won't go anywhere without fuel and a really good driver. And in any organization, the people are everything. So now let's talk about that crucial human element, the culture and the leadership that really breathes life into a company. You can think of culture as the company's personality. It's the vibe. It's the unwritten rules for how people act and work with each other. A really strong positive culture makes sure everybody is pulling in the same direction, even when the boss isn't in the room. And that culture, it is massively shaped by management style. And it often comes down to a choice between two very different paths. You have the top-down, directive style, which gives you control and often speed. Then you have the supportive style, which is all about building up creativity and giving people ownership. Now, neither one is automatically right or wrong, but the style you choose will absolutely define your company's personality and ultimately how well it performs. All right, we've got our blueprint, we've got our engine, and we have our people. But what's to stop this powerful organization from just veering off a cliff? How do we keep it on the right track? Well, that is where our final piece of the puzzle comes in, the company's moral compass. Corporate governance sounds really formal, but it's basically the company's official rulebook for being accountable. It's the whole system of checks and balances that makes sure decisions are made ethically, transparently, and in a way that's good for everyone involved, from the newest employee all the way to the investors. It's what makes sure the game is played fairly. Now, it's so easy to just roll your eyes and see these as a bunch of corporate buzzwords, right? But they are the absolute bedrock of trust. A company can have the most brilliant strategy and the most flawless operations in the world, but without this foundation of integrity, the whole thing is built on sand. And you know what happens to things built on sand? Eventually, they crumble. And this right here really brings it all home. The single most crucial point to take away is that none of these pieces work on their own. A truly successful organization is a fully integrated system where its big, grand strategy, its powerful operational engine, its human culture, and its guiding principles are all perfectly aligned and humming along in harmony. So I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Take a look at your own organization, or even just your team. Is it a system that was intentionally built, piece by piece, by design, with all these parts connected? Or has it just kind of evolved over time by default? Because that right there is the difference between just existing and being truly built to win.